Hey, good evening, guys. Welcome to Sissy's Cards and Crafts. Um, Luckily, I don't have consistent followers that are coming on live, so it is very late here. It is 11:20 p.m. But like I said, we are kind of night people here. I don't know if I've shared, but I have an adult son with Downs, and we have to do things very much routinely. So the evening's got to be planned exactly the way he wants. So then by the time I get away and able to do some stuff on my own, it gets to be late. But I'm good with it. Nobody is on with me. So, maybe when I start getting more followers, I will make sure I'm doing more routine timing, and we can actually do some live videos where we can get some interaction. That would be awesome for me. I apologize for last night for my lights being on and reflecting on this glass mat. That is one of the big negatives. Now, if you aren't going to be doing videos, then the reflection of lights on your glass mat will not bother you. It's just something in videos. So I'm hoping the lighting is good here. If ever there's anything you want me to correct or be a little bit better on, please let me know. Positive feedback is great. Giving feedback that is going to help me grow is awesome. So anyways, I thought, and I'd mentioned this the other night, that the Trusty Tools dies are celebration. So SAB celebration. So you can get them free with a $75 purchase. Like that's awesome. To get free dies. The stamp set is still available. It's $33. 163274 is the price. So you add another $40 onto that, $42 onto that, and you're at the $75. And then you can get the dies for free. So feel free to shop if you're in Canada, because again, I am in Eastern Ontario, Canada. So if you are in Canada, I would love it if you would buy through my link of Sissy's Cards and Crafts, stampinup.net. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so this is the set. It is unique, and I'm only going to take a little bit of time to show you this because I don't want to it's late, and I'm not gonna I'm trying to condense my videos a little bit more. So it's a photopolymer set. It's clear. Again, I keep everything all in one, so I've got my dies stuck in here. There's a lot of dies. I believe 20 dies, so quite a few really unique dies, and I'll talk about a couple of them. The stamps are two-step stamps, so just to give you an idea, trying to see which is that. So this is the wrench here. Let's do this one. We're going to do this anyways. So just can't find, oh, there it is. I want to find my Memento ink. I was doing these in a different color, and it just didn't want to show for me. So I'm going to do them in black. I think it will show better. So here we've got our Memento black. I'm going to ink that up, and we're going to stamp that on some white. All right, nice and clear there. Now let's take, I'll do this Pebble Path. I like this color. I'm hoping it sticks around. And then we've just got kind of a flat stamp here. Now I kind of like to do a stamp off. Actually, let me, just worried I bent it. I like to do a stamping off just to get a little bit lighter, but I think we'll be good here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean in. Sorry, I've got to get my head in here. I'm going to lean in, line it up, and measure and stamp right on it. So if I had stamped off, I would have stamped the ink off on something else lightly and then hit it again, and it would have been lighter. And I think that would have been a little bit better. because I can see the black in there. You can't. But that's the two-step stamp. Quite gives you a lot more options to do different types of stamping on there, I feel. You can do different colors, different layers, all of that. So I think the two steps are fun. We're not really going to do that tonight, though. We're going to color with our blends. So that's kind of the plan for tonight. All right. Two-step stamping, that's one thing. Also, we can create tools with the dies. You don't need the stamps. So if you are just looking for the dies, then, oh, here they are. So you have your hammer. You can cut a full hammer out. Let's say you do that in brown. Then you can come in with gray or even silver if you have silver foil. Cut the head of the hammer out, place the head on, and then you have a hammer. So you don't even need the stamps. And I think I did one here like that. So yeah, so there we go. That's all just dies. I colored in here. I kind of did some lines. You really can't see it with the blends, but that is no stamping there at all. This little tool, snips, there isn't even a die for it. Or the stamp rather, you only have the dies. And I actually got a little fancy and I took a brad and made it so you can actually twist it. So if you wanted to position it open or position it closed, but that's just kind of an added task there. So that's one thing you can do. You've got the two stamps, and then this is what we're going to do tonight is we're just going to stamp with black and color with blends. I thought that was kind of the best look. Oops, dropped something there. That can get that later. All right. I was really hoping, because this was on the last chance list, and there was still some just a few days ago, and I was really hoping that it was there, but it is sold out, unfortunately. Man, what did I just do with that? I had it. Put it back. Look at that. Okay, so the hammer, I could actually just die cut out the hammer. You do have this here. You can die cut out the handles. This is a little tricky, so I kind of would avoid this. We do not have a stamp for the wrench, but you can. There is some in the paper here. Now that's the edge of the paper, so I'm not gonna be able to get all of that, but I could die cut that out. So the paper is awesome. Pretty much all of these, we don't have the saw, but you could fussy cut that. So fussy cut is just taking this. I'm just going to crop it out quickly here. And then when you hear somebody say they're fussy cutting, they're just taking their snips and they're cutting it out. And you want to leave maybe a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch border around, just like your dies would be. It actually looks a little better than cutting right on the line, in my opinion. Most people, that's what they do. They don't cut right on that line. And these actually, you can, if you're looking closely, they're not, they're not a pristine print. The colors are a little bit offset. So I think cutting on the black would just make it kind of look a little bit less of what you want. I'm losing my words. Another thing, now that we're getting to know each other a little bit more, just to share some personal, just about my life. I'm a mom. I have 3 adult children. Like I said, my middle son is 32 and he has Down syndrome. I have a married daughter that is 34. And then my youngest son, my baby, will be turning 30 in a couple days. And then I have a fur baby of 8 years, a golden doodle that is just, she is the baby. She's given me a grandchild, quote unquote, but I don't have any grandchildren. But the other thing I wanted to say is I, in 2020, had lymphoma. I got through it. I am fine. I'm looking at declaring cancer freedom this June. However, I do have some brain fog. So if I can't remember a word, please bear with me. All right. So this paper, back to this, it has awesome background. So here's another sheet. There's always 2 sheets of the same paper that you can cut out. So then we've got these awesome backgrounds here. This is really cool for like the front of a toolbox. I've done a 3D card like that. I like that. And then you've got kind of your pegboard. Another couple papers there that I believe you can cut out. Sometimes you can't, because this one is a little bit different. I don't think this one's anywhere around to cut out. And I don't think this hammer, yeah, it's a different hammer, so it's not going to cut out either. But, you know, it's fun. It's fun. I really wanted to use this paper because it is so cool and I have it. So I think I will use a piece of this, but only this. Because it's not available, I don't really think it's fair. But I do want a nice red to pop with the card. So I didn't fully create the card before I came on, but I started it. And I've cut some things out. So I didn't cut out the this designer series paper. I did, however, quickly do this, and unfortunately I didn't get it kind of 100%, but this is my own designer series paper. So I just took the stamp and I stamped it across. So this would be an awesome one to do. I'm not going to use this because I really want to use the red, and I don't think the black on the red is going to show up like I want it to. But don't be afraid to create your own designer series paper. And that would just be a quick way of doing it, taking your stamps and stamping a design. You can do it very ordered or just, do it however you want. Okay, so we're going to use that. We are going to do, it's a fun fold card. It's unique. It's fun to do because it's really, really easy. So all it is our card that, and I didn't have the other black piece, but just we're cutting it lengthwise. So this is our 8.5. We're cutting it at 4.25, or this is our 11 side, sorry, and we're cutting it at 4.25, scoring it at 5.5. So I've scored it. And notice it's missing a little piece. Here's my piece. Right, so there is that piece, and what I did is I cut it off, and I believe that is 3 inches. Yeah, so I just cut. So I cut my piece, ran it through my trimmer, and cut off 3 inches. Now this piece, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it this way. So it's going to give it a little bit different, just to give you an idea. Put this here just so you can see. So this is going to be kind of how the front looks. Okay, so that's the goal, and let's get started creating this card. And I think I forgot to grab some white. So just bear with me, my squeaky chair. Squeaky, squeaky. All right. Again, making a little bit of noise. Okay, so I want to, what did I just do with that black piece right there? I'm kind of a little messy tonight. So I'm just going to put this nice piece of white in, and I'm going to cut at that 3 because I want to have an inside piece that matches this. That's going to be my sentiment piece. So I believe that's 4 1/4. Yes. That's another thing. I just can't seem to remember things like I used to. So I think I've got it. And then next thing I know, so I always double check everything. All right. That's the piece for the sentiment inside. This is going to be our focal point here. I want some DSP for right here on this part. So if I look here, we've got 2.5. I just want to have 2 1/4. I'm going to make sure I'm following the pattern on this paper because it is dimensional. I did pull out the Timeless Plaid paper, and I thought, oh, I'll find something that works there. But the colors just weren't what I wanted. So then that's going to be 4. I really wanted a red, a nice true red color. Just because that's, the toolbox is the tools seem to be, oh, and I've got to change that blade on that trimmer. I promise I'll do that before tomorrow. You probably don't notice it until I put it on that black cardstock. All right, so that is going to go there. I'll just pop that on. I'm going to open it up to make it a little easier for me to see those edges. This came out a year ago, just over a year ago, maybe. And after I got it, it was a new catalog was released. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna, it's not going to be available anymore to use, but they kept it, and I was pretty happy with that. Okay, what I want to do here, and one of the dies that comes with it is this pegboard looking one. So I cut that out using my little trick with the wax paper, because those are a lot of holes to poke out. So we cut this out of the yellow, and I'm going to put that on, centered on there, and that's going to go there, and our tools are going to go on it. Now there is an edge around it. The die pretty much is the holes. So you can make it different sizes. Like, oh shoot, didn't want to do that. Got glue on the back of this. Now I might stick some. Normally don't put glue in the center. I just try to get the outside, but I think for this one I'm going to. And I'm going to have to get out that trusty glue eraser again to get that glue off the back of that black cardstock there. And I'm going to center this on, hopefully. I'm missing my light above me. I normally have got a nice bright light shining right down here. And I don't, because it was reflecting. So I'm hoping you guys can see everything. From my view on my computer screen, my monitor, it looks really good, the lighting. So hopefully I might just flip that there. Okay, so that's going to be the front. I'm not going to quite adhere that right yet, but I will once we get the tools on there. So you can see if I just went and either fussy cut out some of those tools, or if I use the dies to do the pre-printed ones, they would look just great on there, and that would be awesome. However, we're not going to do that. We are going to stamp some and create our own here, like you can with your dies. So I'm going to again get the memento, stamp this up, and I'm going to put it down here. So I thought I'd use the wrench, the hammer, and there's a paintbrush that I thought was pretty cute. Just cleaning my stamps off here. Okay. Put stuff away because the puppy will come in and carry it away on her feet if I don't. All right. I have a very tiny craft space, as I've shared. I would love, my dream is to have a nice big craft space where I can do videos or have a dedicated spot where I could set up and have my lighting and everything all ready to go, and I don't have to right now I'm sitting in amongst a bunch of cords because I can't function. The lighting, just I need to run cords behind me, so when I get up and move, it's a little tricky. All right, here's our paintbrush. I'm trying to get all these on this piece of paper. One, to show you that it's possible. Two, I want to use it, don't want to waste it, and makes it easier to just to run it all through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, so I'm going to get the blends out again. I really like blends, and I'm sorry if I'm a bad example. That's not the word I want to use. Or if I'm kind of talking you into getting blends and being a blend person, because I just think they're awesome. They work so nice. I did a card and I sent a picture to my daughter, and she was very impressed. She's like, that looks professional, and it's so easy to use. So I've got Light Pebbled Path. Like I say, I think it's just a great color. I'm going to actually use the brush tip here so we can do it a little bit quicker, but sometimes I find it just goes on a little smoother. Just be careful on your edges, right? You don't want to go out. And like I've shared before, make sure you're using a good quality cardstock, because it will blend or just bleed like crazy, and you'll have something that you think looks just great, and then you come back and you realize that it's just gone all over the lines. So the handles, where I'm thinking, would be the wood. That's where I'm hitting with this Pebble Path, which is kind of, it's brown tone, a little bit gray. Like these caps actually look gray when you're looking at the caps or the ink pad, but it's just a nice, almost a worn brown look to me. And then here with the handle, I don't want to go through the hole there. And the die actually puts a hole in this cutout when we do it, so that's kind of sweet. Please leave me some comments, chat in the chats. Let me know where you're from, how long you've been stamping, kind of just if you've enjoyed the card. Again, like I say, if there's anything I can do to make things a little bit better, I'm all for that. I am a teacher or an instructor in my other world, and part of that is why you don't get my full name, you get Sissy. But Sissy is my name in my family, and my sisters have always called me Sissy. And I get Aunt Sissy from my nieces and nephews. So that's just who I am. And I thought, you know what? That works for me. That's who I want to be in my retirement years and in my other life. I want to go back to that fun sissy that I always was, and not the mean instructor that I am in my world. Okay, so now I have smoky slate. It's that gray. So you can see the gray tones from the wood now that I put it up against the gray. And I might need to get the bullet tip out here to do these. And the light that you are seeing that's reflecting on this glass is the room light. And if I could move my desk, I would. I've tried turning that light off, and I'd have to bring in a whole bunch more lights to use in this room, and that's just not going to work. So I apologize. I'm trying to keep it covered. And if it is really bothersome, I'm just going to have to use something other than this glass mat, I think. But like I say, goal is to have a different spot to do videos, right? So you get those centered spots there. I just really think these blends, especially when you want something that's not, it works for things that you are more realistic, right? But if you want kind of a animated sort of look, fun, just cutesy sort of look, this just helps us give that shading and just makes it look much more professional. And where there is this shading, so those lines there, I'm just going to go over a few extra times just to give it a little bit more depth. It's not really adding on more color per se, like your regular watercolors or crayons or pencil crayons, as it's just deepening the color. Does that make sense? Maybe not. Right now, that's where my brain's at. So I have light crumb cake here that I'm just going to hit the brushes of this paintbrush with. The die for this is quite cute too. You can actually get where you can make these look like they have paint on them. So it's a good set. I really like how Stampin' Up! Puts such attention to detail. All right. So it's as simple as that. It's cutting or is coloring those. We're going to get our trusty Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. Pop these on. My pieces of washi tape are getting well used. Hopefully I can get one more use out of them tonight. And then they will be done. So I'll put that on. I do find I want 2 pieces here. Now these, like I say, are well used, so they're not really that sticky. But that's fine. That's kind of what I want, because if they're too sticky, it's going to pull up and possibly rip my paper, my cardstock. I don't want to do that. But because these are so particular, like this is even cutting out the edges of the brush. So I want to make sure this die is not going to move when I put it in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I will get top and bottom of the die to make sure that that's not moving anywhere. Because I put some work into this. I don't want to see it wrecked. And I've stuck that right to my cutting plate as well. Look at that spin there. All right. I'm going to put it this way so it feeds through first. Tape lifted off here. I don't want that to shift. I spun it too much. Just double check. Everything looks good. All right. So I'm going to pop this in. You hear those cracks? Don't let that upset you. Like I said, one day it will crack or totally break this plate. That's fine. I'm expecting it. But I've had a good long run with it, so I'm not going to be too upset. Okay, here's the dies. This is popping out. I will now just pull these die cuts, rather, the dies I'm pulling off right now. Again, in my other world, I'm very particular about language, so correct myself here. All right. Another thing to comment, maybe I said it already, is where are you? Right? Where part of the world are you in? Maybe this is not nighttime for you. Maybe it is daytime. And this time works for you. Okay, so we're going to put these on, and we might crisscross position them. Not quite sure yet. This is going to go under here. I just to give heads up, this was a design I found online by Melva Peters, so kudos to her. Thank you for the inspiration of this. This is what I'm going to do for my sentiment. And I think I'm just going to put "You're the most awesome." Now that was the piece that I wanted for there. This I was wondering. Haha, look at that. I can use that piece of paper here. Perfect. Just going to give that a quick cut out. There we go. That will still fit on there. And away we go. Right. Because of the size of this, and because I've got just the right amount of paper, I am going to cut it first before I stamp. Normally, I don't do that. I hope it works for me and doesn't give me trouble. I have to get a couple pieces of washi tape here. If you're worried about them being too sticky, just put them on your clothes and pull it off. That will decrease some of that stick. And then it will not be a problem for you. So those are on there. And this is going on. Sorry, I got that crooked. I'm going to straighten it. Another, go through. Why is it giving me grief here? There we go. Come on. Oh, you know what? It's because I've hit, this is straight on. It doesn't like to do that. It likes it when it's on an angle. So if you can see what I mean here, I don't want to kind of angle it so that corner is going to go in first. The full size one isn't so pernickety. You won't have that issue as much. It's still easier on your machine, your dies, your plates, all of that. But this one, it likes to have things a certain way. Okay, so I've got some little, sometimes if I just take the tape, I'll grab those dots in there. Sometimes it doesn't work. And sometimes seen a couple demonstrators, this is how they get those out. And then of course There's still the good old get your pokey tool out and get those things out, which I think is what I'm going to have to do here. Just to pop that one last. And I find too, if you're really struggling, it's not coming out. It's not that it's just stuck in there. So if you put your finger kind of behind it, don't poke your finger, for Pete's sakes, don't do that. But if you just have something sitting there behind it, it will help come out a little bit. Okay. Now, you are awesome. I'm going to put that on there like that. Because I haven't used these stamps in a while, I am going to just give a quick stamp first. You are the most awesome. That's what it says. All right. Now on the edge of my block there. So it looks pretty good. Okay. I just want to make sure that, especially when I haven't had something out for a while. Okay. Center it. Down we go. Hold it. Let all that ink absorb into the paper. Give it a good kiss. And there we go. All right. Give it a scrub. Pop it back. Teach good habits. Putting your stuff back. I say we pay a lot of money for these. Don't want to see them wrecked. I do just want to show you here a couple of these other dies. So one, this die here isn't just for labels. You can make a little toolbox using that red paper is kind of sweet to do that. And you could create your own designership. It's just red with black lines through it. But then they even have these little, I don't know if you can see that. It's like a screw and a couple nuts and bolts. Awesome. Your tape measure has the little measuring guide that goes on it. I believe this goes, it's the center piece for your tape measure. Your pencil. So there's a full pencil, and then you can do a little yellow part. So this could be your black pencil, yellow part there, all sorts. This die here was one of the ones. It doesn't, or no, there is one you can cut out with your die on the paper, but again, that's something that you can't get. So you can cut this out. It does give you some indentations that you can kind of follow to color in that darker spot. And this is 2 pieces. So here's your tool, and then you have the drill part of it that I suspect is metal. So I did it with that silver. All right. I like that the Stampin' Up! Puts these outlines in our cases. So if you put things back properly, you can very quickly see, have I got everything in or have I lost anything? Here's that end for your paintbrush to make it look like there's some paint on it, which is kind of cool. I don't think, I mentioned there was a die, but I think it was the stamp that it was. Okay, let's assemble this card. The other thing that the designer had for this card was using a piece of silver foil inside. Now, Stampin' Up! Has some silver foil, or they don't. I know they have gold. Not sure of the silver. So take a look before you purchase it. I just kind of went to the big box store and got some silver foil because I like using a lot of foil in my cards, especially Christmas cards and special cards. I think it just looks nice. It is quite a thick paper, so my glue is not going to be a problem. But we're going to cover this whole back here. You don't have to, you just, but I think it's going to make it a more level card. And then this piece here, remember we wanted it exactly the same size because we want to hide it under that. Another thing that I just thought maybe I'll show you and how to do, maybe not. There's some, is just getting the edges of your, just kind of sponging the edges of your paper. So if you take a sponge and you just kind of go along the edge, you can just add a little bit of color, which I think for this is going to just kind of break up that stark white. Maybe that's what you like the look of. I think I'd like just a little bit more color. I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking it's got to be red. There's got to be red in this. Right? So then that will just kind of blend those two. I was debating doing it on that, but I think I'm going to avoid that right now. All right, so let's position this on. So I want this, I'm going to worry about this top one first. So I want it where it's going to be pretty much centered. And what I'm looking at is my spacing around here, that's going to be centered there. So I've got this lovely line right here. I don't want to put glue past this. So actually I'm going to look at this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots in. That's kind of where I want to make sure my glue is. I don't want to go past that. So I'm holding my fingers right there where that is. And then I'm going to reposition this. Sometimes I'll take just a piece of paper. I still want to see these edges here just to make sure that I'm not getting glue on the back, especially if I've got that foil there. Okay, so there we go. Double check, no glues there. That's awesome. See, I am awesome. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of position this, make sure it's there. I'm going to put glue on it and then pop it down. So that's how I'm going to put that piece down, but I do need to put my sentiment on it first. Now we're going to get out our dimensionals and we're going to figure out how we want to position these guys. I could put this center and have these underneath, right? Popping out from underneath. I don't really want to do that. I was thinking having it down here in the corner like that. That's kind of my thought. Even bringing it over here a little bit just so it gives a little bit extra look to it. It's up to you, right? It's your card, so do what you want to do with it. But I do like that little bit of overhang. So if that's where that's going to go, then how are we going to position these guys? I want to try to use all of this space that I can. I'm not much for lining it up, especially something like this, directly and saying this is how I want it to go. They all are going to be in line is what I'm trying to say. No, I think this is going to go this way. Where I want that, like that, but I want this coming down like this. So play around with it. I could get some ribbon out as well. Put some ribbon on it. Now that I said I don't want them straight, maybe I do. Maybe I do want them to kind of go like this, be offset. That might be exactly what I want to do. Okay. So I'm going to use dimensionals. I think I'm going to use a mini one here just so, because there is that circle there, or that cutout rather. Don't fold it, but have it up here. All right, just like that. I'm going to put a big one down here. I think I'm going to do a couple big ones. And again, I'm not wanting to fold it, but that seems to be what I'm doing. I can't blame it on anybody. It's me doing it. Try to pop it up there. Okay. This, I'm pretty sure that's where I want. Well, I'm going to say that's where I want. You can see I've used this paper. It was kind of paper I prefer. I shouldn't have done that because what's going to happen is you're going to see it. So I might have to fix that somehow. All right, so I'm going to put some glue here. Okay. So I'm going to make sure that goes on there like that. Because what's going to happen is they're going to see that there, which I don't like. So maybe it'll go to my husband. It will be his card. And he'll say, oh, that is so lovely. And he won't even notice it. All right. Not going to bend these. I'm going to do these without bending them. I'm going to do it the proper way. And I'm going to stick a mini one here like that. These dimensionals are so easy to use, so manageable. But I tell you, those backings get to be in the way. All right. And then I think I'm going to put that there. Totally what I said I wasn't going to do is what I've done. But you know what? Hey, I've got... Isn't that a woman's prerogative to change your mind? All right. There we go. Another mini here. And you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put minis on either side too, just because I don't want it to sag. Saggy's not good. All right. To save time, because we have been on almost an hour, 50 minutes, you know, so it's after midnight. It's now officially Family Day in our lovely province of Ontario. I'm not going to do the sentiment piece in the middle, but I am going to show you some of these great pearls. These are basic gray and smoky slate pearls. So I thought what would be kind of cool is if I took one and put it right up there so it kind of looks like it's hanging on that hook. I'm going to take a larger one here, and they're a little bit darker, and I'm going to put it down here. And then maybe I'll do another one here just to make it look like we've got that hanging up as well, just a little bit down. And then I'll do 3 here. Just kind of do 3. I think that looks good. So there's actually 5 on there. Kind of wanted to put something up there, but I think that's good. So here we go. And then our sentiment piece will go on in there. Now, just, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see those glue lines. I wasn't thinking that would happen because that paper is quite thick, but I guess with the sheen of it, it's showing. So that will cover it anyways. But I think that will look great. So let me know what you think, what you like. If you are placing an order, remember you can get those dies for free, and you really could use them without the stamps. Stamps, of course, are handy, but I could have colored those or use those because I could have cut out this part, right? So I could have just done brown and cut out some silver for the top, and the same for here and here. So you know what? That works. This paper, like I say, is not available, but we could have made that work. But I thought, cute little card, great. Great offer to get those dies for free. All right, have a good night. Thank you again. Take care, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.